How's it going, true believers? It is I, Shane. I'm here to give you another X-Men 97 episode review. Today's episode is episode 3, Fire Made Flesh. Before I go any further, please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of more reviews just like this one. And if you want to support me even further, go ahead and hit that Patreon link in the description below. I appreciate you all. Wow. So after the amazing cliffhanger from episode 2, we go right into it. Now, there's a lot of comic book references. That is one of the things that's making X-Men 97 amazing. We're picking up where we left off back in 1997, right? On top of all that, this has always been kind of its own thing, right? Some of it has some elements from the comics, the love triangle, some of the villains, their machinations, blah, 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 blah. But it's never been comic accurate all the way, right? What I love, what we're doing in X-Men 97, we're chopping off a lot of the fat that came from the original, and we're throwing so much comic book related stuff. And this is really how you're supposed to do not just like your TV shows. You should do your movies like this, Marvel. That was what was happening in the beginning, where you take that source material, you go, okay, here it is. How can we tell this story but different? And you keep the important elements, such as this one. The important element, instead of it being Jean, you're thinking, oh, Jean Grey and Scott have cable. No. Maddie and Scott do have cable. Spoilers, by the way. I mean, if you're here, you already know spoilers. They do have that baby. But this is how we're going to spin this and turn this around. I love it and I appreciate it. Let's talk about the reference, right? The references to, I said Phoenix because fire made flesh. That is one of the mottos or taglines of the Phoenix. But the Inferno storyline, and not the recent one in 2023. I'm talking about the one back in the 80s. I think even before I was born. The one where it involved Madeline Pryor and I think Ileana Rasputin, magic sister of Colossus. I believe she had some entanglement with that as well. And there's a little bit more of that life death at the end of this episode with Forge and Storm meeting up in the Outback. Storm has on the appropriate outfit to go with her hair. This is why I pulled back from hating on that mohawk, because I'm tired of it. But seeing what they did in episode 2, I said, you guys are getting kind of close here. You're getting more adjacent. I'm okay with this, and I'm glad that I took a step back on that, because they're doing it good and they're doing it right. So I like and the storyline where Oksana, a Rachel Summers in disguise. Rachel Summers is an alternate future child of Scott and Jean, I believe from Age of Ultron. She's talking about several names: Prestige, Oksana, Phoenix. Even she's had the Phoenix when she's part of Excalibur. So in the original storyline, she psychically brought Jean and Scott to the future as Slim and Red with 2 Ds, so that they could raise Cable as much as they possibly could. This is how in the 2023 Web of Shadows with Madeline Pryor and Ben Reilly. Ben Reilly is one of my favorite comic book characters. He was one of my Spider-Man growing up. If there was no Miles Morales, I would put Ben number 1. Ben is easily number 2, number 3 in my list. But regardless of all that, Web of Shadows, one of the things that Jean did to quell Madeline's fury was say, here are the memories of us raising Nathan Cable. And that magically fixed everything. We won't talk about Web of Shadows. We won't talk about that. But yeah. So in this, Bishop takes the role of Oksana, because it was we've been setting up since episode 1. Hank is fixing on that thing. It got enough juice to take both Bish and Nathan to the future, because he knows someone that can help Nathan get over that techno-organic virus, which essentially is just going to be Cable, because the reason why Cable's eye looks like that, he is insanely strong. He has the same super telekinetic powers as his mother and the massive willpower of his father. Because yes, Cyclops is a strong mutant. Y'all just don't recognize until now. And he holds all that back. So the reason why either sometimes it's just his face, but it's mostly just his arm. I've seen art where it's his face, but it's mostly just his arm and part of his face where he's holding back. And we even see it when, he's, waving bye to his mother. It's gotten to his arm. Bishop knows someone that can definitely help him out with that. This is actually the first time I've ever felt sorry for Madeline Pryor. The story with Scott and Maddie Pryor, where she is a clone made by Sinister, all that is still the same, but they met in Alaska when Scott was visiting his parents. Jean was supposedly dead at the time, got with her, they married her, had Nathan with her. She wanted him to get out of the X-Men, and the way was it John Byrne? Did John Byrne write this, or was it Chris Claremont? I can't remember which of those two wrote this, but the moment she had Nathan, Scott turned into a dick. He wouldn't act like that, especially if you go to 2000, the year 2000 on up Cyclops. But they end up splitting from there. She became a single mother. She then met Havoc. Alex Summers, Scott's brother, got with him. That's how they are connected. And then she finds out her origins. She gets mind controlled. Actually, she meets a demon, and the demon gives her power. So initially, she didn't have Jean Grey's psychic power. And here, we give her power, and we give her a little bit of psychic flair in it. And there's hints of her being, that having the ties to the demon realm and limbo with how she introduces herself to the X-Men. But this is the first time I actually feel bad for Madeline Pryor. Like, it is rough to not know when these two were switched. They remember everything. The only difference is Maddie did give birth to Cable. So I do feel bad for her. So she's just gonna, what she's always want to do, leave and find her own way. They don't even know which one of them is married to Scott. That's what we're gonna get to my boy Scott in a minute. That's what's really messed up. The Goblin Queen name, I guess Sinister just wanted to do that. I mean, maybe Sinister was being a joke and he put the suggestion in her mind to call her Goblin Queen because maybe he was calling Nathan a little goblin. I don't know. But the whole hellscape psychic thing that was going on, that had happened, that was insane. I still thought that was just an illusion, but that was a really strong illusion that they all shared. They changed who says previously on X-Men. So they had, Jennifer Hale, the voice actress for Maddie and Jean, say previously on X-Men. I thought that was cool. Actually, I'm going to skip part of my notes because I wanted to talk about that intro. The intro had, remember in the old intro where Jubilee would be against the chain link fence? It's Roberto. Sunspot, Roberto on that. We see the Shi'ar console slap from Lilandra. Rogue kissing Gambit on the court, but she put her hand up because this Rogue does not control her powers. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, back in, was that 2010? Damn, has it been over a decade? Rogue has been able to control her powers for well over a decade. She can siphon whoever she wants and applies their powers pretty well, but she has been able to control her powers for a while. I surely hope that if this series only gets 2 seasons, I'm hoping for a third and a fourth and a fifth. But hopefully, one of the things that happens is that she gets control over her power, and then we can axe that little thing there. So this love triangle between her, Gambit, and Magneto. So that'll be taken to a different level. What am I at here? Scott in front of the Phoenix. That was another one. I already mentioned about Bishop going in the tunnel thing. I think I have them all. Yeah, I hit them all for that intro. Intro is pretty cool. I like the intro hints a lot of times about a little bit what's going to happen. The whole Phoenix and Scott being like, no, it hurts. Even Roberto's part, that was interesting too. So go back here. Morph. Some people are upset that Morph, they say he's the cameo character. Oh, sorry. I got to remember, Morph is non-binary. When you see old Morph face, that is a he, and he looks like a crackhead. New Morph, that looks like comic Morph, non-binary. So please, I'm gonna keep messing that up. I'm trying my best. I apologize for that. But Morph, people are upset that Morph is becoming a cameo character. I'm more concerned with, okay, Morph turned into Spiral and turned into Magic slash Darkchild. Literally two of my favorite characters. I wish they would bring back Spiral and have her part of X-Force again. And Magic has been part of the X-Men strong for a long time. I think right around the time, I think it was before the Sins and the Serpent storylines, when she, convinced her brother to become the Juggernaut. That was cool. But it does set the stage for going, wow, Morph has either watched a lot of tape on these people or Morph has been around these folks. Still don't understand how he gets their weapons. We're going to ignore all that, though. It's a cartoon. We're going to ignore all that. Forge. So, before I talk about Forge talking to Storm, saying, I know who you are, I'm going to help you get what you lost. And she's all, they did have a romance a long time ago. Forge in the comics was actually the reason why she lost her powers. He was doing some really messed up shit. But let's talk about the fact that the two black characters are gone. Like, Storm is like, oh, my powers are gone. Heavy hitter number 1 gone. Then Bishop, heavy hitter number 2, is like, all right, I'm gonna help your baby out. Pew, body slide by 2. I can't. The only one left is Roberto. He's Afro-Brazilian. So, bruh. And then a thing that some folks have called into question: why is Roberto there? We thought he left. I'm going to assume that because he's rich and he has a plane, he's probably going back and forth. He's probably hanging out with Jubilee. That they seem to be a love interest here, and that is something that I did not put in my notes. But I gotta say, I like that there's more love stuff than just a triangle of Jean, Wolverine, and Scott. Thank you. We had a new triangle now. It's Magneto, Rogue, and Gambit. Let's keep that one going, right? And Rogue even felt bad. She's like, oh, Remy, I should have been here, baby boo. Oh, my beignet, baby. Right? We're going to talk more about that later. And now we kind of have a hint at Morph being attracted to Wolverine or having some feelings towards Wolverine. Someone said that Morph was looking for Gambit too when that whole fake shower scene had happened. Talking about, do you want me to shave? Want me to wash your back in those hard to reach places? Morph in the jokes. I don't want to forget this part here, but I'm going to skip ahead and say one thing. Morph is an asshole. I was going to say a dick. No, Morph is an asshole. He teases Wolverine in episode 1 about, the Jean and Scott thing. Like, oh yeah, she got filled up with a baby by that guy. And then Morph in here is teasing Gambit about the whole Rogue and Magneto thing. Like, oh man, they got the danger room for like 3 days for several hours. Man, that's some intensive training. And I'm just sitting there like, bro, why does anybody just punch Morph in the face? Like, I get trying to be the comic relief and stuff. You're pretty inappropriate. One day, and someone's going to go off on you. And I think it might be Cyclops, because he's Cyclops. When he gets pushed to the edge, we've seen Cyclops push the edge in other media, such as the X-Men anime that I won't shut up about. Wolverine in the X-Men, which is really good. Really good. He is in shambles when Jean is thought to be dead. Very much reminiscent of the not just Utopia X-Men, but the Astonishing X-Men, which is what the X-Men anime is based on. One of my favorites. But I digress. Scott's probably going to be pushed to that point. I just a feeling I have, so I can skip that. What I do appreciate about this is now we're probably going to see Havoc. Please let Havoc be in his X Factor outfit. I think X Factor showed up. X Factor did show up in the original series. Strong guy, Polaris, some weird chick, multiple man, and Havoc, please let him show up in the X Factor outfit. Don't show up in the onesie with the weird headpiece. Show up with that cool ass jacket. But now this leads Maddie to getting with Havoc, and it won't be weird. It won't be weird. It won't be, hey, I'm trading in one Summer's brother for another. It could be, I left because this is an ambiguous situation, blah. Which then leads me to my favorite point. So we don't know which one he's married, and Jean isn't going to jump right back into it, right? She's, she did run to her boo when he was in trouble, but it is kind of like, oh man, how do we fix this out? Scott is in shambles. Jean is pretty confused, just trying to, get back from being captured. I think this opens us up for a little Scott and Emma time. Oh, yeah, I can see Scott going to Emma Frost for some type of counseling. While Jean Grey is an Omega level telekinetic and telepath, Emma is an Omega level telepath. There's a difference in telekinesis and telepathy, people. He's probably going to go there. Maybe they get a little thing going. Who knows? Maybe we get Psylocke. There was an unexplored sexual tension between Psylocke and Cyclops in the comics. Never explored that. Maybe it'd be that. But I'm hoping that this opens the door for Scott and Emma and make it take place in 97. I need that. I feel bad for Logan, because I on some level can identify with the fact that he's looking in her eyes and going, Jeannie, just read my mind, Jeannie, and in this way, we can bring you back. Because when you're a powerful psychic and you hear everyone's thoughts from miles around, you gotta focus. And he's like, focus on my feelings for you. And she's like, you care for me that much? Even more than that, darling. But when she hears Scott, she's like, nope, ponytail. Got a psychic battle to save his life. And Wolverine's just like, yeah, I know, Logan. I know. Kind of feel bad for you there. At the same time, dude, move on. I don't care if you get with Morph. I don't care if you go to Yuriko. There's somebody out there for you. Don't need to be Jean. But hey, if Scott gets with Emma, go ahead. Have at. Where am I at here now? Havoc. Beast has some funny lines here, such as Gene Doe and superfluous genes. That was funny. Sinister. Apparently, all scientists have a signature, so Hank knew that it was Mr. Sinister. And we get to the haunted house part is insane. Oh yeah, Gambit says "Cherchez la femme," which is, look for the woman. Cherchez la femme. Cherchez la femme. We get several nightmares for people, except for Wolverine. It's interesting. Hank is ambiguous. Look at what Hank opens the door. There's a big old head. It goes bleh, and he's like trying to get to the elevator. He's like, either you're on the wrong floor or I'm on the wrong floor. Very funny. Does a Dante Inferno joke. Roberto's watching a movie with Jubilee. The characters on the TV turn to them like Evil Dead. He sees his mother talking about she could never accept a mutant. Morph sees naked Wolverine, who I guess tells him off, and we don't get the full ramifications of that. Gambit sees Rogue and Magneto in the Savage Land, which is actually where they met how they had their little thing in the comics. And just like he's like, Gambit can't see that whenever. That was, and they were starting to melt together. Really, really horror type shit. And Cyclops, while in the room, in his bedroom with Maddie Jean, and all the pictures are thrown on the floor. Another Easter egg, the photo of Madeline and Jean kissing, that is straight from, is that a panel? Is either a panel or the cover of when they got married. Actually, it might be the one of when he got married to Jean, actually. It's one or the other. Marvel redheads almost all look alike. But the teddy bear turns into Professor X, and Professor X is just horrifically Teddy Evil X is just saying it's the mess up stuff. You can't lead the team. You don't know which Jean it is. What's wrong with you, boy? stuff like that. That was their Evil Dead situation. And when the team gets together and they're thrusted into hell, they gotta battle demons. The coolest shit is Bishop Cyclops combo. Bishop telling Cyclops hit me. Which, by the by, he doesn't need to touch the visor to do the beams. If anyone was wondering, does he actually need it? No, he uses the visor to control it, but he can just, beam all day if he wants to. It's just this makes your opponent think, oh, if I take that visor, he won't be able to do it. Kind of helps him adjust it. He can do thin beam, wide beam, just take the shutters off and give you all of it. But when he tells Cyclops to hit him, Cyclops remember, Bishop's power is to take energy and concussive energy, and he can absorb it and send it back. They do the color purple, kind of like how Black Panther's suit is in the MCU. That's actually, yeah, I just made that connection. So they do the combo move of the beam and blast and take care of all the demons. That was cool. These two a-holes both say you're welcome. I love it. The real Jean does help when things get really, really heavy. And she helps twice. She helps and she faints. That's how you should have known that's the real Jean, because since the series started, Madeline didn't faint. Old Jean always fainted. She's fainting all up and down this episode. And when she's tying her ponytail up to help Scott psychically by fighting with Madeline psychically, and it's so cool. It's talking about the Phoenix power, and everything was going fine until you got here. You took my family, my husband, and now you want to take my life. Will this violate? No, the violation will end. Such good lines, man. And that psychic battle was so cool, and Jean had to show her you have more than just the Phoenix and more than power. They went back to how when they first met Professor X, their friend Annie was about to get hit by a car. They stopped Annie. Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? And the one thing Jean couldn't take with the sight of either Jean or Madeline eating both of them is that Madeline had the baby. You have Nathan. You have more than pain, suffering, and power. You have the baby, which the little diamond that Sinister controls his clones with broke. That's how she freed her. That was cool. Magneto versus Madeline Pryor was also cool as hell too. Like, he called her a brimstone clone. That shit was, the one-liners are great. Way better than before. They're pretty good. Actually, I do need to hear Wolverine call someone an egg-sucking gutter trash. That would be terrific. Wolverine says heck. Well, Morph said hell. Well, I guess because he said hell, because Morph said hell is a place, so maybe that was the difference. But the battles were good. Cyclops' powers making Mr. Sinister bubble and shit. That, never get tired of seeing that. They do go for, he sticks Nathan in a green tube, and I'm thinking to myself, so the baby just not gonna be like, blah, 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 blah. I guess the baby can breathe. He gives him the techno-organic virus. He actually said he did a little quote. He did. What was the quote he did actually? Hold on. Wait. Madeline said, pathetic. What is he seeing you? And Jean fainted again. That was funny. Hold on. Yeah. Nope. He cried. Nope. She cried some more. Nope. Ladybird, fly away from home. Your house is on fire and your child all gone. Was that supposed to be gone? I said gone. Home, gone. Yeah, home, gone. Whatever. Your child is gone. This kind of telling what's going on with Madeline. While she may or may not have had that experience of the Phoenix, she is a ladybird. She's gonna leave. Her kid's gone. The part that did start making me tear up is when they're discussing how do they fix Nathan, and Beast is saying the technology could be months from now, years from now, and Bishop's gonna take him in the future, and Scott's like, I'm not gonna abandon him like my dad did me. Like, I'm not gonna do what my father did. You all know, and even Magneto's in there, and Madeline's like, what are you gonna do? And he's saying, I refuse to be like my father. Do you know what it feels like to be abandoned? I'm just like, just man, Scott. And he's like, I can't have a part of this. I'm sorry. So quite interesting. This is the type of leader he is, y'all. He will make the hard decisions, even if he's against it. He knows the best chance for his son to not die is to go to the future and live and get whatever cure he needs. It's just he doesn't want his kid to feel abandoned. I do love that at the end, Madeline was psychically talking to him, which I'm sure will imprint upon his mind since he is also a psychic. That, we love you. We always love you. When you're out there and alone, you're wondering if we abandoned you. No, we didn't. We're doing anything and everything we can so you can have a better future. Just really good conversation. Really, just really good. Really, really good stuff. But yeah, we don't know when they will switch. Jean remembers everything. I was kind of wondering if they were going to go, oh yeah, there was this point where Professor died and we were all eating pancakes. Then all of a sudden chloroform. I'm still wondering, how did Sinister get her, right? We don't even know that part. There are some differences between Madeline Pryor and Jean Grey, which are subtle, but are interesting because Madeline's whole deal is, we can just move away from this team. Jean was very team oriented, but I believe Jean more so would lean towards, we'll retire from the fighting part, but we're going to help out with the school part. At least that's just the impression I got, especially when I think about Jean Grey from the old parts. Madeline Pryor obviously wears her hair down. Jean is rocking that ponytail all day, every day. Jean faints all the time. Madeline does not. Madeline seems a little bit more, I want to say stern. She seems a little bit sterner. Maybe that's part of that sinisterness in her, but she seems a bit sterner. Jean is a bit, more soft and reserved. I'm looking forward to the return of Madeline. There's no way this is the end of us seeing her. And I am looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with the family, with the X-Men. What's going to happen with these guys next week. Hopefully Storm will get her powers back soon. I mean, and if she gets her powers back, maybe she won't have to wear the white uniform that we associate with her. Maybe we'll see that black uniform from 1988. Now that would be pretty cool. This episode, 5 out of 5. Granted, yeah. Another thing that I love, and I forgot to say it. Back in the day, this would have been split up into 3 parts, 4 parts, 5 parts. Like, that's just how the old X-Men show was. They would have split it up, try to, give it its own mini arc and flesh things out. I'm kind of over that. Even the anime Spider-Man did that stuff too, right? Like, that's appropriate for a Sinister Six, and that's appropriate for like an even bigger thing. But I'm happy that this wasn't 3 episodes. I'm so satisfied with it just being this. And I'm glad that we're not forgetting other storylines that are coming through here. Because remember, the last one was a cartoon. You did like the through line was the whole Jean Wolverine Scott thing and the where's Morph thing. But I like there's thorough lines in here. It's Storm needs to get her groove back. The lovers situation as well, but then this lovers situation, I'm ready for that thing to either to become more complex. Focus on them, let them be the couple that's going through BS now. But I digress. This was fun. This is a 5 out of 5 from me. Anytime you can give me like a character that I didn't really like at all, good job, X-Men. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below for sure. Did I miss anything? Also, let me know for sure. Who's your favorite X-Men so far? Are you enjoying these stories? Do you wish this was fleshed out? Tell me all of that. Please don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new here, and hit the notification bell even if you aren't. All right? Thanks, true believers, for sticking around and listening to me talk about X-Men 97. I appreciate each and every last one of you. Please be good, be blessed, wash some hands, stay safe out there. All right? Be good to yourselves, be good to others. Either way it goes, please don't be a jerk. Remember, there are people out there that love and care about you. Reach out to someone. People would rather, hear you and talk to you today than to miss you and mourn you tomorrow. My social medias are in the description below, right underneath that Patreon link. Give me a follow, send me a message. As long as you're not a jerk, I will definitely get back to you. All right. Until next time, true believers, I got to get me an X-Men shirt. I got to get one fast. Excelsior.